everybody, and welcome back to another video. It feels like it's been a really long time since I made one, but it's literally just been a week. I think it's just the fact that I haven't done a voiceover in 2 weeks is really what's throwing me off. So I'm really excited to be back and to show you my latest build. So let's get started, shall we? So for this week's build, I decided to do something that has been rattling around in my brain for the last couple weeks and build an underwater palace. More specifically, I think this is a mermaid's palace. It just kind of has that mermaid vibe to it. And I am really happy with the way this turned out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I'd love your feedback. And then this is also going to be a 2-part build, since the outside of this palace took me so long and I had so much recorded footage of this that I didn't really want to do the interior as well. So I think next week what I'm going to do is build the inside, and since I haven't ever actually uploaded my interior building process, I will film that, and then that'll be part 2 of this video. So this build, the reason that this took so long was because it was a lot more parts than I'm used to doing with a build. So the first thing I did was create a very general base schematic for the castle. So I used some wool and a super flat and just got the really general shapes. So the towers where they were going to be at, and the balconies and the bridge and that kind of stuff. Just really basic, no detailing whatsoever, just to give me an idea of what this was going to look like, how tall it was going to be, that kind of stuff. And then originally, I was gonna put this in a deep ocean biome, but I couldn't find a deep ocean that was actually deep enough for this. And I didn't really love the idea of having the towers, like just the very top of the towers sticking out. I thought that would look really weird, so I ended up scrapping that and creating this super flat void world, which is what you see me building in right now. And I think that some of the recording issues I had are because of that super flat void. You'll notice that several times, if the camera isn't directly next to something, it'll just vanish. So if it's not near a tower, that entire tower will just poof and go away. Same with the ground, all of it. It's really frustrating, and there wasn't a lot I could do during editing, so sorry about that, and I hope you enjoy anyways. So back to the building process. So I made this super flat void world, and then using world edit, I created a giant stone square, and then using some more world edit, I used their brushes to fill in the sand and terraform everything. Unfortunately, the ReplayMod didn't catch that super well. It just showed me dumping sand into a void, so I cut that part out, obviously. And then after that, it was just super easy to paste in the schematic I had made of the palace and get the basics right, and then start building. So for this build, I was really inspired by some of the art that I'd seen recently on Pinterest of elven palaces. And so I wanted things to be very graceful, very light, and I think I did a pretty good job with that. And since it was a mermaid palace, I decided to leave things very open. So I didn't use any glass or doors on any part of the building because I wanted the people who live there to be able to just swim in and out of any part of the palace at any time. And I think that's a really cool concept, because you can't do that on land builds. You know, you have to have entrances and exits since, you know, most of us are bound by gravity. And underwater, you're not. So I really love that idea, and I think that adds a lot to it. Unfortunately, that does mean you can see the super unfinished interior very frequently in all of these shots, but like I said, next week I will do the interior and hopefully it will look a little nicer from the outside as well. And since this was an underwater build, I did get an excuse to use my favorite and least favorite block, which is Prismarine. I love it because 2 out of 3 of the colors that it cycles through are absolutely gorgeous, but then it turns green and it's not my favorite color. And it does make it a little difficult to get a good palette for it. As you might have noticed at the beginning, I was using blue terracotta to outline the roofs, but then I noticed when the Prismarine turned green, it looked kind of off and didn't really sync up super well. So I decided to use dark Prismarine instead, which is actually one of my least favorite blocks as well. but I really enjoyed the way it turned out, so I guess don't be afraid to try things that you normally don't like, because it might surprise you in the end. So, with the water added, I feel like this is where the build really came to life. Before, it looked kind of hollow, kind of empty and sad, but once I added the water and then started adding some coral reef around it, I think it really, really came alive. And honestly, I was kind of concerned at first because the coral is very bright, very vivid, and I was worried that it might clash with the palace, I guess. But if anything, I think it enhanced it so much. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments, but I am super, super pleased with what the coral brought to the palace and the build in general. And I think that's it. I don't have much more to say about the build. So I hope you enjoy the rest of it. I will leave you to the time lapse and the cinematic. And if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, or all three, because I enjoy interacting with you guys so much. So until I see you guys next time, have an awesome week. Bye!